use this clinic are going to be really impressed with it.
Planning for the new clinic began in 2014.
88.1 The Park.
Greetings and welcome to the scene here on 88.1 The Park. It is 7 p.m. on a Thursday, and we're back to bring you the best of the best in local music, especially the amazing artists that we have here at Plymouth Canton Educational Park, or as they call it, Maddie the Intern, PCEP, or
PCEP,
or The Park.
Yeah.
This place has a lot of nicknames.
It really does.
You know?
I mean, when you think about it, 6,000 kids every year for like 4 years, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to get tired of just calling it PCEP or Plymouth Canton Educational Park.
You got to mix it up.
You do.
You got to mix it up. So we are here in Salem High School here at The Park, or PCEP, to bring you the scene. Maddie, it's good to see you.
Yes, good to see you too, Nick.
Winding down a week of your senior year now.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Crazy. Have you made any decisions yet about your future plans for after school?
Officially committed to MSU.
Hey,
so that's really
right.
exciting. So
congratulations.
Thank
You're going to be a
you.
Spartan.
Yes.
Way to go.
Yes.
Follow in the old family footsteps, yeah?
Yeah, except I'll actually graduate from MSU.
Well, good for you. We're very proud of you.
Thank you.
It's good to have you back on the scene. If I remember
Yeah.
right, you were not able to be with us at the last show.
No, I was not.
It was not the same.
I know.
Something was missing.
I just bring something to the show.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been a good couple months. Of course, we had the ITB 5 release party.
That was insane.
It's fabulous.
It
The
was
Halloween event.
A lot better. I thought we did a lot better than I thought we would.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think our costumes were a
Our
hit.
costumes were amazing.
That was all Maddie the intern's idea for the band staff, or at least a few of us, to dress up as Scooby-Doo characters.
And then when Daphne got a concussion, she couldn't show up.
We lost Daphne.
Yeah, we did.
But we had most of the group
Yeah.
accounted for. It was a good night, wasn't it?
It was. I had a lot of fun, and it was a good show.
Yeah, I think the electric stage was probably the best overall bands that we've had yet.
I know. It was
You know.
insane. Like, I actually got to listen to the music a little bit, and I enjoyed it. It was a good experience.
And you rocked the karaoke room, which was a hit.
Did not sing once.
You sang a little bit off to the side. I've seen some
Okay.
video. I've seen some video.
That video should be taken off the internet.
But, so this year we did, the karaoke room was an addition, and we continued with the Jazz Lounge, which again, continues to be, I think, a really outstanding part of the night.
I love the Jazz Lounge. Like, I'm not typically a huge jazz listener, but to listen to those guys just go play jazz for several hours, it's something truly unique, and
They never stop.
they
You know?
don't. You would think they would have to stop at some time, but they don't.
They just don't. They're like tough. They're like tough musicians, Well, things are going to get a bit jazzy tonight, because you know who we got coming in tonight.
Hayden Cousmano.
Mr. Hayden Cousmano making his return to Salem High School,
Yeah.
which will be very cool.
Do you think he's going to be nostalgic?
We'll have to see about that. We'll have to ask him that.
Yeah.
He could be. He could be. But he's a jazz guy, so they're all
Yeah.
nostalgic. They're all,
That's what they're about.
That's right. Most records he listens to are like from the 1950s, So, in fact, we'll hear some of that tonight, I think. So it's good. It'll be good to have Hayden in, because we're still celebrating ITB 5, even though our attention now is turning to ITB 6, and we're very excited about that. I'm sure at some point we'll be announcing who will be part of that.
Super excited for that.
Particular vinyl. And, of course, that release party will be sometime in June. Mm-hmm. Maybe like graduation weekend-ish.
Yeah, that's so much going on.
A couple days before you get your diploma.
Yeah.
I might cry at your graduation.
At
I might
my
cry.
graduation,
Yeah, I might
you're
cry.
going to cry?
I might cry.
Oh, my God.
I'll be very sad. But I'm very, very proud at the same time. So
Aw, thank you.
one of the things we did of late, we did our annual turkey show the night before Thanksgiving. And that was a good time.
I loved it. I always loved the holiday shows because they just bring something special, because In the Band is a family in and of itself. And so, like, to celebrate it with my actual family and then also my In the Band family, it's nice. It brings a sense of belonging.
It does, yeah. And I think it's cool that, to your point, the families of our bands come, because it's a big family night. It's much more of that than anything else.
Yeah.
And I know that Abby Sexton's band, which is no longer called what it used to be called.
I know, it's
now
Saint
called
anything?
Saint Anything.
Yeah.
Exactly. They played, and her family always shows up in droves. So it's just like a big, happy family
I
that
know,
night.
and, like, you get to see all the old band members. And it's just, like you said, it's good.
It's like our own little homecoming, you know. So we had that show, And we're going to get a little quiet here in the band for the next month or so, but we do have on December 20th, we're hosting the GSA benefit.
Yes.
That Tess Star and her team always put on, and there's a whole plethora of artists. So make sure and check that out. That's on December 20th at In the Band upstairs.
6 or 7.
Yeah, something like that. Show up at 6. It'll be just fine. And it's a huge group of artists, so big that it's not even on the flyer. But I know it's a $10 donation at the door, and once again, it benefits the Trevor Project.
Yeah.
So we're splitting the difference. It's 6:30 p.m. is when it starts.
Nice.
So on December 20th, everyone should come and check that out and support the PCEPGSA as well as the Trevor Project. So that's our next event. That'll take us into the new year.
Yes.
And with the new year, I think we should look back. So let's do a little ITB 5 and then go back to ITB 1. So you're about to hear a big gap of music here in the next segment. So let's get things going with one of the artists on ITB 5. Here is Through from Read the Sun here on the scene on 881 The Park, Plymouth Again's at Music.
This is April Quazarano, principal of Dodson Elementary School, and you're listening to The Scene on 88.1 The Park, Plymouth and Canton's hit music.
In the past, trying to make things that aren't gone now last. Well, the weather's the same, and the feelings have changed, and I'm taking the blame. Taking the blame. Just to see your face. Now I'm walking this path at a different pace. Thanks to you, it's your loss.
Broken heart has taught me anything. It's that change is good.
If this broken heart has taught me anything, it's that the change is good. Same place as you, and I've changed, and change is good.
Change from Junior High Cheer Squad. We just went from ITB 5 back to ITB 1.
Quite a throwback.
It's like a quantum leap. Mm-hmm. Is it? I don't even know. I don't know what that word means.
Yeah. Something with space, I think.
Some with space, but it sounds cool.
It does.
Isn't it good to have Hayden Cousmano in here with us tonight?
It does. It brings a whole new relax to this.
Yeah.
Hayden is absolutely one of my favorites, and an ITB favorite. One of our originals.
Original, yeah.
I mean, you really were there kind of from the start.
I was texting you about in the band in my driver's ed class in 9th grade.
That's right.
Fun, yeah.
I mean, you truly are one of the originals. Kind of you, Keegan Weaver, like that whole crew.
That whole crew, yeah.
And now you're a big-time freshman at Wayne State.
Big jazz guy.
Is that what they call you?
No, that's what I call myself.
But things are getting a little jazzy in here tonight, you know?
I like
and
it.
Hayden just brings a cool vibe.
He does.
It's just cool.
Chill.
Super chill. To be a jazz guy, don't you have to be kind of chill?
Yeah, I mean, there's a crazy dudes, but they don't make it as far as the chill ones.
No, it's always the chill ones.
Yeah.
You got to have that vibe.
Yeah, you bring it to your playing too. Yeah, that's the best part about it.
Hayden is so cool. Hayden and I have had some amazing text discussions about music.
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times at night I'll just be listening to something and sort of text Hayden and say, hey, what do you think of this? We had like a 2-hour thing. I was watching some Miles Davis interviews.
Oh, yeah.
Naturally.
That becomes very addicting to watch those because, boy, like, talk about a genius from another planet.
Virtuoso.
In a number of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always evolving jazz, like every decade, you know?
Yeah.
It's nuts.
And I'm texting Hayden to learn about Miles Davis, which is very cool. It's one thing that was always cool about having you around is I feel like you could teach everybody a lot about the things that you're into that maybe not every sort of 17 or 18-year-old musician is into.
Hip to, yeah.
How did you get so into jazz?
Well, I mean, the best thing about jazz, like my jazz history teacher was talking about it, it's like jazz is like a tree of itself. Like you can start somewhere, but you can always go down the tree or up the tree, and there's like so much like depth to it, you know? So like you can start on, okay, so let's check out Bill Evans, and you're like, oh, his bassist, Scott LaFaro. Who else has he played with? Oh, he also had another bassist, Eddie Gomez. Like, what groups did he play with and stuff? So you can just, one thing leads to another, and you just start like really digging it, you know, because there's so many interesting characters in jazz to check out.
Yeah, that's kind of why I dig prog rock, to be honest with you, because there's so much crossover. You know, you learn about, there was one drummer who was in Yes, Genesis, and King Crimson, Bill Bruford. Like he played in all three of those bands. So how can you ignore that?
Yeah,
right.
For
so
sure.
You're going to get into all those bands.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of cool to like follow those trees.
Yeah.
Do you like ever have to counter it though, where like, man, I really like need to listen to some metal today or something, like just to get something that's not so, jazzy and repetitive?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I love jazz. It's so good, but like with like all good things, you can't like listen to them in excess because I don't want to start getting tired of it. So like sometimes I'll wake up and I'm like, man, I haven't listened to My Bloody Valentine in like 3 years, or like, man, I haven't checked out, what was it, just checking out like even just like pop music, like Michael Jackson, just like his old stuff with like Jackson 5 and stuff. Like I just got really into the Motown sound and like the best part about jazz is even when you're like, all right, I gotta take a break from this, you can take a break by listening to like other types of jazz. Like you can check out Freddie Hubbard stuff, like Red Clay, where it's more like funk and like R&B influence too. So you can still be digging on jazz, but like get like a broader taste of it.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's the best part about it.
How did your experience at the park, yield your love of jazz, or at least support it? Was that a factor?
Oh yeah, I mean, I got my like roots at Piece Up Jazz with my jazz teacher, Mr. Bellamy. He was the one who kind of got me into it. He told me all these albums to check out and like all these guitarists to check out. Like, hey man, get hip to Jim Hall because like he's got some really cool stuff. You can check out stuff with Bill Evans and just like and it's really I kind of was really lucky to have a couple friends in my jazz band, Nate Lewis and Darren. Like we're kind of like the main dudes that kind of hung out with for the most part. But there was all those other guys who I was just able to really connect with, and like we could all just instead of just talking about like whatever high school kids talk about, we were talking about like 70s Miles, like what's going on, like tribute to Jack Johnson, what's up with that, so yeah, Piece Up Jazz was very instrumental.
You and Nate and Darren are like the faces of Piece Up Jazz.
It's so funny.
Even though they're gone.
Yeah, it's true. They're like legends.
Yeah, it's so funny because like every time we hang out, because we play with a lot of Ann Arbor cats from a community high school out there, and they're always like talking, like whenever we meet other people, they're always like, yeah, like where do you guys come from? Like we're from Plymouth, and Austin's like, these three guys are the jazz scene in Plymouth.
It's so true.
It's true,
It is.
But wait, I'm hoping there's gonna be some cats in the Piece Up band that continue like the tradition and stuff, and be able to like even like fill in our shoes. I hope people are able to continue playing jazz because like even though we're gone, like there should still be that reminisce of like of like the jazz. So
well, based on the Jazz Lounge at the last show, I think it's in good hands. I mean, it was another great night at the Jazz Lounge. You have fun doing that?
Oh my, it's the best. Yeah, just getting people, even if they're not even cats, like they're just like blues players, just like, hey, we're gonna put a 12-bar blues over this, but like you can still play whatever you want. And I'm just like, all right, here we go. We count it off, and it goes really well, And so it's just like it's crazy how these people have this capability that they don't know inside of them. It's always fun watching people and even communicating and like the chemistry is like super cool.
That's what's so cool about jazz. It's that unspoken communication. The best experience as a musician is having that conversation when you're playing with somebody without saying a word.
Definitely.
Jazz is all about that. It's the improv. It's having that conversation.
Yeah.
What went viral though, Maddie, from the Jazz Lounge was the the rendition of Hot Cross Buns with Brian Fair, our board member Brian Fair's son.
That was great.
That was pretty sweet.
Austin was starting to lay it down, and I'm like, yeah, man, dig in, you know? That was super fun.
That was such a great moment because he's a young kid, and he was just kind of sitting there jamming on his recorder or whatever.
Yeah, man.
I walked past when he was doing that, and that was
It was so cute. It was awesome. It was like, that's what ITB is all about. Like,
Yeah.
that, you know what I mean?
Inspired
Like,
the next generation
that's
of
right.
cats, you know?
Exactly. So we're going to check in with At Tony's Place, which is, we already heard Read the Sun Through. Now you turn the record over and we hear your band Soul Eyes. And you already mentioned it's you, Nate, Darren, Oliver.
Rowan Tucker Meyer on piano, and then you got Austin Aldrich on bass. Yeah.
And Soul Eyes is sort of this rolling thing, right? I mean, it's not, there's no like sort of set lineup, right?
No, yeah, we've kind of in the past gone through mainly bassists. It was for a while just a quintet with, you know, us, and then we interchanged basses. But we did lock down Austin because he's just an awesome player.
Yeah.
And then we eventually did find Rowan at an ITB jam session, and we were just really hitting it off with him, and he joined. But so I mean, we kind of have locked down a lineup, but it doesn't mean we're never like we're not like, you know, able to like change members out, because at the last ITB show we did use our friend Jack DeBona on drums, you know, because Oliver was at Temple University. But yeah, we kind of do have that like one lineup, but we're not afraid to like interchange, you know.
For sure. And
Yeah.
so many of you are off studying music, and we'll talk about that when we come back. But for now, let's just get a little jazzy, Maddie. You ready for this?
I am.
Just kind of like get that jazzy vibe going on in here.
I
you know?
can't.
Yeah.
I can't hold a beat.
Oh god, you gotta have your inner time, the inner feel.
I wish I had my hi-hat here. You know,
It's just
just get a little bit going. You know?
Yeah, I
Maybe
dig
Hayden
it.
could do a little spoken word before the time is over.
Don't you hate spoken word?
I do. Yeah, I do. Absolutely. All right, let's do this. So we're flipping the side on ITB5, and let's check in. Here is At Tony's Place from Soul Eyes here on 881 The Park. At Tony's Place.
Sponsored by Tony Sacco's Pizza.
I wish my voice was deeper. When you're going to be a jazz DJ, you got it at Tony's Place, you know?
Yep.
You remember Ed Love? You ever listen to Ed Love? He was on DET. He did a jazz show at night. I used to listen to a ton in high school.
That's cool.
Booming, deep voice. That's kind of where I learned jazz.
I like that.
You know? It was great. It was on WDET. I don't know if they even still do jazz at nights on that station. But
I don't think they do, but I know that the station's still around because I got a T-shirt
from
them
yeah.
from the jazz festival.
Nice. So that was at Tony's Place from Soul Eyes with our special guest tonight, Hayden Cousmano, all the way from Detroit, Michigan.
Downtown. Yeah.
So we'll shift into our influences segment. What right now, it has to be an influence being in the city, right?
Yeah.
And being in a city with some underrated jazz talent, or at least
jazz.
a scene.
Rich jazz history.
And a great history.
Yeah.
So what has it meant to you as a musician and artist to kind of get down there and be part of that? And certainly your studies are part of it, I'm sure, but even just the culture.
Yeah, the culture down there is super inspiring because, like, you know, you'll go to these jam sessions and you go to, like, shows. You go to either Baker's, Baker's Keyboard Lounge, Cliff Bell's, Bert's. Like, there's all these places where there's, like, jam sessions and stuff, and you'll just hit them up and you'll just, like, find, like, all these cats there that can just play so well, and it's just, like, super inspiring, and to, like, want to be able to hang with those guys, you know, and, like, just, like, totally absorb all, like, the nice, like, vibes that they all exert, you know, like, all the jam sessions. And I've just been going to as many shows as I can, just, like, getting all the experience I can, you know. So
But what's cool is, I mean, you came straight here from a gig in downtown Plymouth.
yeah,
so you're still digging it here. You haven't forgot about us.
No, I'm never gonna forget about my roots.
I hope not, because you're going places, and one day you'll be playing all over the place, all over the country and world, and you better not forget old Plymouth, Michigan. This place was good to you.
I totally wish there was a scene down here. That's, like, the only complaint. I mean, it's like, because, like, Ann Arbor's got a pretty good scene, Detroit's got a good scene, but I think we really gotta get a jazz club opened up in downtown.
Yeah,
you know.
Oh, that would
You
be
should
amazing.
start that.
That would be a bad.
It's a good move. Maybe you, Nate, and Darren could all start your own jazz club.
Los Tres Amigos Jazz, you know.
That would be nice to have. You need a home base. That was the whole basis of ITB, right?
Oh, yeah.
You need a home base if you want to create a music scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've created a music scene, but jazz is it's so unique to find young people who are really passionate about it.
Yeah.
You know, but I think we could do it.
I think
Let's open a jazz club.
Why wouldn't people would dig it? There's so many old people out here. They love that kind
Yeah.
of music. Everyone's always walking by. Hey, remember Nat King Cole playing that back in my day? I'm like, yeah, you're right. you did play this, and here we are. I'm 18. You know?
Absolutely. So we'll shift to the influences segment. I know Julian Lage is what we're going to start off with.
Julian Lage, man, he is.
Or Lage, I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, no, yeah, he's a baddest cat, man. And my favorite part about him is, like, he's like jazz, but he's put this twist on it that, like, is kind of. It allows people who aren't into jazz to kind of start digging it, you know, because, like, obviously he's been trained classically and, like, through jazz, like, you know, the jazz studies or whatever. But, like, yeah, he totally makes it very not really commercialized, but, like, more easily accessible than, say, like, you know, John Coltrane's spiritual era.
Yeah.
You know? But
what year is this song from?
I want to say this is from 2016.
Yeah,
It's like definitely mid 2010s, yeah.
So, you know, all music drives me crazy with all the genres. You know, everybody's got their little name and subgenre. Jazz is just as obnoxious. Is this fall under some sort of genre name? We're about to hear?
We were just my friends and I were just talking about
this. Yeah,
this
people
yesterday.
argue about it endlessly.
Because, like, there's, like, you know, it's like it's kind of like music theory where, like, gives you, like, a language to talk about it, but it doesn't mean that's, like, how everything should fit into it. You know, because, like, there's, like, post Coltrane, post bop, hard bop, and it's like I think there should be, like, some concrete ones, like definitely bebop, hard bop, and then, like, post bop. But, like, after post bop, which is, like, late 60s, then, like, it started getting into fusion, you know, and, like, Grover Washington Jr. and stuff. And, like, nowadays it's just, like, it's whatever you make of it, man, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Robert Glasper, you know, is totally, it's like neo soul, but then there's, like, Julian Lage doing his own thing, so it's like, I don't even know, man. Just call it jazz.
It's just music.
It's all jazz.
Maddie, he's like an encyclopedia.
Yeah, you're speaking a different language to me. Like, I knew what about 3 of those words meant.
Well, let's do this. So here is the Hayden Cousmano Influences segment. This is Supera by Julian Lage. Oh, we should clap. Everyone claps at the end.
Very good, Bill. Very good, Scott.
That is the Hayden Cousmano Influences segment with Julian Lodge and the Bill Evans Trio.
Yeah, and I can't forget my biggest inspiration. Definitely my little grandpa. I gotta say that really quickly. All aside from musician, my little grandpa totally got me into it. He's crazy, really active in the Detroit scene. Saw Billie Holiday, bought her a drink actually. He was telling me this story back before he back when he was able to communicate pretty well and stuff. But yeah, he's my main inspiration. I gotta put that out there.
Nice. Good for you. I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Glad you got to get that out there.
For sure.
And nice to hear your influences.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you foresee jazz being it for you? Like, do you think you'll ever play in like a rock band again? And because you're pretty versatile. You have that club in your bag too.
Yeah, I mean, as a jazz musician, you like. I mean, everyone likes to stay like as a jazz musician, but like, there's nothing wrong with like playing in like other groups and stuff. I mean, I'm even playing in like a country group like simultaneously. I don't know if you guys even know about this, but me and Joe Jankowski are actually the backing band for this singer Lisa Mary.
Oh yeah.
So this is I do play a bunch of other music and stuff. So I mean, whatever pays the bills,
Yeah. Correct answer. Exactly. Well, let's get into our time machine right now and travel back in time for the Scene Rewind. We're going to bring in Bill Keith, station manager here at 881 The Park. Maybe the only guy that knows more about music than Hayden Cousmano, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
And Bill, what do we got tonight? The Finer Things, from what I hear?
Yeah, this is a band that we used to play on 88.1. This came out in 2011, so that was the last year of 88.1 The Escape, and we were playing it quite a bit that year. They came in and performed live in the studio. I think they were from Ann Arbor at the time, but one of the band members, at least one, Dave Hawkins, was from PCEP, and I remember he had a band that played, like we did these Battle of the Bands over at the Summit on the Park, 2 stages, and it was just one band after another, and he had a band that played there that was really good. And then we got introduced to the Finer Things, and this was just a very well done CD, and I don't really know how to describe it anymore. It kind of reminded me a little bit of power pop, maybe a little bit, but kind of alternative rock, indie rock.
Very well produced album, I remember.
Yeah, they have a song on their album called Don't December, and so I thought, it's kind of a Christmassy type song, and I thought, well, this is the month to play it.
Love it.
Yes. And it's a great song. We used to play it quite a bit here on 88.1 The Escape.
Only during December?
No, we played it all year long.
So, not in December.
Yeah.
On December.
On December. So here's Don't December, even though it's December, Maddie. It's
Don't
December.
We can't play it.
Yes.
All right, well, we are in the Scene Rewind here in our time machine. So here are the Finer Things with Don't December here in 881 The Park. Don't December, even though it's December.
I liked it enough.
Yeah?
I'll allow it to play in December.
Okay, all right, we'll break the rules of the title.
Yeah.
Very quirky kind of, especially those keyboards.
That's
that
a good
were
way
in
to
there.
describe it.
Yeah.
You said Ben Folds 5, and I think there's definitely some Ben Folds action going on there.
Definitely heard that. And it wasn't just the piano and keyboard. It just seemed like the whole composition of the song. But that it was the Finer Things.
And I have to say, beautiful artwork, just kind of cute, really creative. And they recorded it at Venerable Studio, Big Sky in Ann Arbor with Jeff Michaels.
That's right. That's why it sounds so good.
Yeah.
Big Sky, that's a good room. Hayden Cousmano, what'd you think of the Finer Things?
I dug it. I like that, like the bell kind of like MIDI thing. It sounded pretty cool, and I like the original Ben Folds era stuff. I did get that vibe as well. Pretty good stuff.
Nice.
Big Sky's a cool studio. I've been there once.
It's a great room.
Pretty sick.
So what's next for you? Just a lot of gigging and some class here and there, and just gonna continue to try and get your name out there.
Yeah, this is the last week of classes I went. Tomorrow is like my last day, and then next week we got finals, and I got to play my jury, which is basically you pick a tune and you play the melody, and then you play a couple solos. You play like 2 choruses, like a solo over it, and then to play the melody, and then they kind of just grade you on that. Just make sure you're keeping up with your studies and stuff. And then, but yeah, I mean, I have been, doing a lot of jam sessions and such up there. But we actually at Wayne State have a like a grand opening show for the new Gretchen Volade Jazz Center, which is going to be in the basement of the Hillberry Theater in Detroit, right by Old Main, like the big building on the Wayne State campus.
Yeah.
And I have a combo that I'm in called the George Benson tribute group, but it's not the guitarist George Benson like you would think. Saxophonist. Yeah, the old Detroit legend George Benson. We're playing music of his, and yeah, we'll be playing that on December 15th. That's what it is. And then if you go out there, you'll see not only my group but some other great. There's another good trio and then another group that's playing of my friends, and
Excellent.
So that's the next time you can see me.
Well, everyone should head downtown December 15th and support Hayden, our kind of local boy done good here.
Yeah.
Off doing his thing at Wayne State. We're proud of you, man.
Thanks,
It's
man.
really great.
Yeah, you were the one that kind of got me, acquainted with all the cats down here in the scene. It was all thanks to you, man. So I'm in the band and the scene radio show, getting everyone on the radio waves. It's
That's
very
right.
cool, man. I always appreciate you and what you do for the city and
You
stuff.
bet, man. In the Band's been making it happen for the last few years. It's amazing. This will be our 6th vinyl that we put out in June.
It's nuts.
Number 6.
Very
It's
cool.
crazy. It's amazing. So appreciate everything you've done for us, and we got to do this again, man. You and I could talk music forever.
Oh yeah, man. We'll just grab a cup of coffee sometime,
Would
or
love
even
it.
on here.
Would love it. Would love it. And next time it won't be Miles Davis because that was the last obsession, but I'll go through like a Coltrane or Mingus thing. I'll be texting you to get your thoughts on
I'll
that.
get you hip to some.
All right, good.
To some good cats.
Good. You
Yeah.
always do that. You always do that. Maddie, it's never been a bad recommendation from Hayden. Everything he's ever sent me is great.
I can imagine.
Absolutely. You guys got great taste. So thanks for coming in, Hayden. We
Thanks for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
Want to remind everybody about the GSA benefit on December 20th at In the Band. Doors are at 6:30 p.m. It's a huge roster of artists, Maddie.
A lot.
It's so long we can't even put it on the poster.
Because everyone's singing like one song and
Yeah.
dipping. Like,
Yeah, it's a real revolving door of
It
artists
really
that
is.
night. But it's cool. It keeps it
but
fresh.
you get to see everyone.
That's right, exactly. And that event will support the PCEP GSA and the Trevor Project. And we want to give a shout out to Tess Starr, who organizes the whole thing.
She's insane.
She's
I don't
the
know how
best.
she does it.
We love
She's
Tess.
so busy all the time.
Yeah,
really
yeah.
is.
We love Tess. And so everyone should go and support that night in the band. So until next time, we want to wish everybody a happy holiday, happy new year, blah, 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 blah. It'll be 2020 when we come back here.
Oh my God.
A new
Wow.
decade.
A new decade of In the Band.
It'll be a new decade of In the Band.
Nuts.
Isn't that crazy? Amazing. Amazing. So
That's
thanks,
whack.
thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. We're going to take you out with the band formerly known as Paper Crowns.
Are we
but
allowed
it's
to
no
say
longer.
that?
Well, I'm going to say it just formerly known as.
Formally.
And now the band known as Saint Anything. Pretty much the same players. They did get a new bass player, but we are going to go out with Disappear from Saint Anything. Thanks for tuning into the scene tonight. We'll see you next month here on 881 The Park, Plymouth and Kansas City Music.